My name is Shannon. I'm a wife, a mom, and a shay-shay. I'm a speaker, an author, and a recording artist. But most importantly, I am a child of God. Every day, I seek to live out my faith with truth and transparency. But most days, I just need grace in high heels. Hello and welcome to this edition of Grace in High Heels. I'm your host, Shannon Perry, and what a show we have planned for you today. Today's guest is celebrating 5 decades in the entertainment industry and has just released her 40th studio album, Survivor. Her life was portrayed in the NBC movie Coat of Many Colors, along with her older sister, Dolly. Stella Parton is here with us today. And David Deaton is here to help us learn how to keep ourselves safe with some self-defense techniques. But first, the cute shoe feature of the day. These are my fancy shoes. As my mama always said, false eyelashes and cute shoes make everything better. And speaking of cute, thanks to all of you who send pictures of your pets doing the cutest thing. Today's picture comes from Sue of her dog, Lulu. Lulu is a sweet rescue dog that's taken up rights with this chair, and she is so glad to have a forever home. Sue, thank you for being a rescue mom. And to all of those who save these precious babies and give them love and a safe place, you are a gift. Hey, send us your pet having their cutest moment, and they could be a star right here on Grace in High Heels. Speaking of Grace, let's hear from a member of our Grace and Guts Girls Book Club. Grace and Guts is my latest book that teaches you how to throw the knockout punch to the 12 areas women say they struggle with the most. Today's question comes from Sarah.
Hi, Shannon. My question comes from Chapter 9 of Grace and Guts. I'm pretty easygoing, so when I have to deal with someone who's difficult, it's really hard. I hate confrontation. So are there any other ways I can deal with a difficult person?
Hey, Sarah, thanks for that question. And don't feel alone. We all deal with difficult people, some more difficult than others. I think one of the best things I've ever heard came from a speaker I was listening to who was talking about Jesus and the Pharisees. Remember, they were difficult people in Jesus' life. They were always trying to trick him so they could get rid of him. But he was always affecting them. They were not infecting him. Too many times we let our difficult people begin to change who we are. We give away our power to them, and they can suck the life out of us when we do that. In Chapter 9 of Grace and Guts, I identify what a difficult person is based on 2 Timothy chapter 3, and I give a lot of practical ways to handle the difficult people we have to be around. If you have a difficult person in your life, pick up a copy of Grace and Guts wherever books are sold and learn how to conquer those challenging people in your life. If you'd like to join the Grace and Guts Girls Book Club, it's free. Log on to shannonperry.com and send us your thoughts. You could be in the next video we share. Women are warriors. We fight for our families, our friends, and our faith. But we're often hesitant to enter the ring when it comes to caring for ourselves. Our opponent comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. He throws every possible punch to knock us down for the count. But we've already been promised that we'll win the round when we find the guts to enter the ring and the grace to endure the fight. To become the champion, we learn strategies that outsmart our opponent. Then we take our shot. We stay on our feet, even when we're on the ropes. And with endurance, and determination, we face our enemy. We refuse to let our opponent defeat us. We may get tired in the fight, but we won't quit. We know the promise of victory, and we will never settle for anything less. Well, I am so excited about introducing you to today's guest. She's an international award-winning singer, songwriter, speaker, actress, author, and producer. She's celebrating 5 decades in the entertainment industry with the release of her new album, Survivor. The nation witnessed her humble beginnings in the movie The Coat of Many Colors. Among her numerous awards, she's been inducted into the American Country Music Hall of Fame. She's had a string of top 20 Billboard hits and has performed with some of music's greatest legends like Chet Atkins, Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, and of course, her sister, Dolly Parton. She's the author of the book Tell It, Sister, Tell It. And we're honored to have Stella Parton here with us today.
Hey,
Thank
how are
you, beautiful lady. It is so
Thank you
great
for
to
having
have you. Well, I just want to start at the beginning.
Let's do.
Because I want them to hear all about you. And so let's talk about the coat of
In
many
30 minutes or
colors.
less.
Absolutely. By the book, right?
Right.
Let's just talk about the coat of many colors, Stella. You were not only portrayed in that movie, you played Corla Bass, and you were also a consultant in that movie.
It was kind of a surreal situation for me. You know, how many people live to see their family and their life portrayed in a film, our childhood. It was very emotional at times. The funeral scene in the first episode was very emotional for me because, you know, that's always been a really emotional part of our childhood, to lose a sibling so young. But it was kind of sweet, bittersweet, to see my parents on film, you know, people portraying my parents and my grandparents and my siblings. And I treasure the opportunity to have been a part of it. I was very honored that my sister Dolly asked me to serve as a consultant on the first one because she couldn't be there. And I would know as much about it as her because we grew up in the house together. And of course I know the song, and I know what prompted her to write the song and that entire thing, because, you know, a lot of it is poetic and you have to take, a license, you know, poetic licenses when you're doing a film. But overall it was pretty much the way our values system is and how we feel about ourselves and our parents.
Well, at 24 years of age, you wrote, you recorded, you produced,
And
you
published.
distributed, you published. I mean, every indie artist out there right now thanks you, because at the time that you did that, your first album, no one else was doing that. This was a male-dominated industry, and you just took the bull by the horns and said, I'm going to do this myself. And I tell you, for those of us who are now indie artists, it's easier for us, but back then, that was unheard of. Stella, what was the motivation that you had for just saying, you know what, I'm just going to do this?
My motivation was desperation and starvation. And, you know, I had a small child I was trying to raise, and I was the sole breadwinner for our family. I had the opportunity to do some of my songs that I had been writing, and I was working in a studio part-time as a secretary and a publicity assistant. So I was making money that way, but they weren't paying me. They were giving me free studio time. So I got to where I could get in the studio. I had made enough money to get into the studio and record some of my songs. But, you know, I was laughed out of every record company in Nashville because of who I am. But, you know, I always felt like that and I would like to say this on camera, we all have a right to our dreams. And no one should ever feel that they can take those dreams away from you. I was told to my face, take that kid of yours and go back to our hometown, to Sevier County, and go back working in the beauty shop where you belong. Now, I love when someone tells me where I belong. You know,
a great
I
challenge,
know where I
isn't it?
belong, and God knows where I
That's
belong.
right.
But no one else can tell me where I belong but me. So I took matters into my own hands, and as God would have it, I ended up with a top 10 Billboard hit, and it gave me a career. And so I don't give anyone credit for that but me and God, or God and me, you know, whichever way you want to say it. I did the work. God did the, you know, open the way.
Tell us a little bit about the book. What does the book consist of as far as I know it was written based on part of it being a domestic abuse survivor. And so talk to us a little bit from that angle.
Well, I don't know if you are aware of this, but you know, I've always done, for many, many years, I've done lots of motivational talks and women's conferences, and visited lots and lots and lots of battered women's shelters where women have just overcome domestic violence, abuse, or whatever. And I've been through that myself, and having a background and training in cosmetology, hair and makeup and everything, and fashion design and all, I have taken all that and I put together a workshop. And I wanted to take not only the things that I had learned, but the things that I had experienced as an abuse victim myself, and share that, because I think I know so many women that have been through domestic abuse, or they've been through a rape, they've experienced these things, and they take them almost like they're medals of honor, just like, I'm a rape victim, or I was in an abusive situation. Well, but you know, if you do that, then you're allowing yourself to be raped every day for the rest of your life, or you're allowing yourself to be abused every day. Take that information and that experience and use it for good. Don't make yourself a victim, make yourself a victor. And that's what I have tried to do with my own life, because I don't have time to waste on someone that wishes me harm. I have only time to develop something that will bless myself and others along the way.
That's beautiful. Stella, you have so much going on. I want to talk about your new project that you just released, Survivor. Tell us a little bit about that too.
It was just almost like a gift to me instead of me to you as an audience. It was a gift to me, and that's, I think that was why it was such a beautiful piece. And then there's certain songs on there. I have a song on there about Alzheimer's. I have a song on there about drug addiction, because I had a couple of siblings back in the 80s that struggled with that for a time. And it's about divorce, and there's a song on there called Last Rose of Summer, which is about my parents, you know, me losing my parents, and how their love hopefully sustained them even after death on this side. So I think that's why I wanted to call it Survivor, because it's about the different aspects of my own life, because we're all just human beings. We all do different things, but at the end of the day, we're all the same. We get up, we try to struggle through, we have our dreams, our hopes, our plans, our struggles, our pain, our disappointments, but then at the end of a life, can we say, I did my best? I hope I did my best. I wasn't perfect, but I did my best.
I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to come by and share your story, share your hope, share your heart. You are an inspiration like none other. And I want you to know that we appreciate you so much.
Thank you for having
really
me.
do so
I've enjoyed
very
being
much.
with you, and good luck to you with everything you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Bless you.
I want to encourage you to pick up a copy of Stella's new project called Survivor, and her book, Tell It, Sister, Tell It. You can learn more about Stella when you visit stellaparton.com. Coming up, we'll learn how to keep ourselves safe with David Deaton. If you know Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, your Lord, you never have to take another negative word from another person inside of your heart about yourself, because if it can't be backed up in here, it's not the truth.
Tonight I had a great time listening to Shannon, and it was beneficial as a mom of little ones, just knowing that sometimes when we get lost in the chaos of being a mom, that there's a purpose for our life.
She came walking in that bathroom. She said, "What is the matter with you?" I said, "I am hung in the toilet paper roll holder."
Shannon is the woman that you want to come and speak to your ladies because she's funny, she's full of life, she loves Jesus, and it comes through so clearly.
Ladies, in today's world, we would be foolish not to understand how to physically defend ourselves. My next guest is an 8th degree black belt who was voted the #1 lightweight fighting competitor in the nation by Karate Illustrated magazine. He was captain of the U.S. karate team in the International Wado Championship, and he is founder of one of the most successful karate schools in the country. Wow. Mr. David Deaton, thank you for being with me today.
Thank you for my invitation.
To
I
have
appreciate
you.
that.
Wow,
Thank you.
what an honor.
Wow.
Let's talk about the importance of self-defense, especially among women.
Well, in this world today, everything's generally unexpected as far as being in a situation where you have to have some kind of knowledge of self-defense. But I've always taught our lady students to be preventive instead of proactive. Well, proactive, yes, if it ever occurs, but prevention is the main thing.
Right.
You know, when you go to a shopping mall, make sure you know where you parked and who's parked around you, especially if you're by yourself. I would suggest any kind of shopping like that you go with a friend, that you're in groups, and that kind of puts off people that are trying to take advantage of somebody by themselves. And then appropriately carry certain things in your purse that could be a prevention thing. Carry your keys like it would be a little poker, and that way if somebody comes up, you could use that as a weapon.
Okay.
And a pocketbook, of course, if it weighs quite a bit, it's a pretty good weapon.
The purse.
I mean, 5 or 10
My
pounds
purse would be great.
thrown at you, then, but prevention is the main thing.
Okay.
But if we get in a situation where we are confronted with a stranger, then there are certain things that you could do to protect yourself.
Okay, great. Well,
Simple self-defense.
I would love for us to be able to show them some things. Now, take it
Okay.
easy on me. 8th degree black belt karate. I'm not anything black belt near. I don't have a belt. I don't even know where to
Well,
find the belt.
I'm very controlled, so I can't control myself.
I know you have some amazing things to teach us. So let's do a couple of those things and show our
Okay. Well, sometimes if a lady's carrying a pocketbook,
Okay.
you're carrying a pocketbook in one hand or the other.
Okay.
And somebody comes up and grabs that hand with intention of grabbing your pocketbook. But if you've got it in the other hand,
Okay.
always make your strongest arm free.
Okay.
So if you're right-handed, carry your purse in your left hand.
Okay.
So you'll be free with your strong hand.
That makes sense.
Okay? So if somebody comes up to grab you like this, then you just kind of center yourself,
Okay.
drop your center of gravity a little bit.
Okay.
Do a swift kick to the knee.
To the same side that I'm
the
being grabbed
shin
on.
or the knee.
Okay.
And then you're going to pull and put your foot down so
Okay.
you can balance. Then you're going to pull your hand up toward my thumb because
Okay.
the thumb is the weakest part of the grip. These 5 fingers are the strongest part. That one finger is
Okay.
the weakest. So you grab there.
So I'm going to pull from the bottom to give me some
and
leverage.
pull up and
out.
turn and go.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And turn and trip over the chair. I'm sorry.
Make sure there's not a chair behind you.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So that's great. So
That's from
always remember to carry your purse or whatever you've got, a bag,
In your weak
in
side.
your weak side, on your weak
now,
side.
if
That's
you've
good.
got your car key, let's see, I've got an example of a car key. You want to carry that like it was a weapon,
Okay.
like in your hand like that, in your right hand,
Okay.
between your fingers, and it would just be like a punch.
like a-
you would just
just
poke somebody in
right
right
there.
there or
Yes,
in the
you would.
eye or
Ooh.
cheekbone or something, because
Right.
that's going to be a little sharp
Okay.
something.
So if they come up
and
to you in the front.
even if I grab this hand, you could use that to stab the top of my hand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
That's a great idea.
that's a great weapon
That
that
sure
everybody
is.
has.
And if you're walking to your car, and now a lot of times our keys don't have this anymore, but we have other keys like
Right.
to our house and things that we can
Right.
use. Okay.
Right. And a lot of the ladies that I have counseled over the years carry mace with them
Mm-hmm.
on their keychain, and they've got a chosen key like that they always will isolate, put that in their hand whenever they get out. They're already prepared for self-defense, even if it doesn't happen.
And like you said, as soon as
Preparation
we
is
get
key.
out of the car, before we get out of the car, we need to look and check our
Search.
surroundings
Right,
always.
right.
But always get out of the car prepared, even if it's during the day.
Right.
A lot of times we don't think about that until it's at night, but even during the day,
Right.
there are attacks.
And even in parking, you could do a cruising before you actually park to see what's around, even if there's anybody or a group of people in a car, because they're the ones that waiting on somebody individual, somebody weaker than them that they could take advantage of.
That's a great idea.
So
Okay.
it's prevention. Always be preventive in
Right,
nature. I know
right.
everybody's in a hurry to do things, but
It's not worth it.
no, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Sure
Okay, so we've got the key. We can kick and pull out and
and
turn
run
around and
and
go.
go.
And then is there another thing
Well,
that we need
if
to know
somebody
about?
grabs you from the rear,
Okay, I better put my key down.
yeah, let's not stab me with the key. Somebody grabbed you from the rear. Let's turn around this way. Somebody grabs you from the rear like this.
Okay.
Okay, no. What I want you to think about is the SING theory of self-defense.
Sing.
S-I-N-G.
Okay.
SING. Okay, so by that, if I've got you this, you're going to try to expand your shoulders to loosen me up a little bit.
Okay.
And then you're going to use your strong, there you go.
Okay.
Use your strong hand to the solar plexus, which
Right
is S.
here.
Right?
Okay.
And then you stomp, instep, stomp, and then you hit to the nose, S-I-N, nose, and then lower body, which we're going to call groin. Okay?
Groin. Okay.
All right, so
All right. Okay. Sing. Here we go.
solar plexus.
Solar plex, instep, nose,
Nose,
groin.
and gone.
Oh, and then yes,
And
of
then
course.
go.
Don't turn around and make sure they're okay.
Right.
Right.
That's right.
Wow,
Are
that's
you okay?
that's an easy technique to remember.
Yeah, thank you.
S-I-N-G.
Sing.
What great information, David
you.
Deaton.
I
Thank
hope
you
it
so
helps.
much.
I hope it helps.
Oh, absolutely. Living in a big town like I do.
Yeah.
This is so important, but anywhere we are
Right.
nowadays,
Right.
women, men,
Right.
we need to know some ways to just defend ourselves,
Right.
just in case, day or night.
But remember, prevention. Make sure you check everything out before you walk out of your apartment or you walk in a parking lot, you come out of a shopping mall. I mean, you know, it's just awareness. And then that's the first stage of self-defense.
Excellent advice.
Okay,
Thank you so
thank you.
much for
God
being
bless
here.
you.
Learn more about self-defense by visiting daviddeaton.com. Now, here's this week's quick clip of grace from the road to encourage you. There's no malicious statements. They may be true, they may be false, because what do they want to do? They want to damage a person's reputation. That's what slanderers do. And these people can do it in a nasty way, or they can do it with the sweetest Christian smile on their face while they just right in the back, right? It doesn't matter. They can. That's what we do. Has anybody ever slandered you? How many of you have ever been slandered? It's painful, isn't it? It hurts. What are people's motives when they slander? Come on, we're a small enough group. What are their motives? Why do women slander other? Make themselves look better, and usually there's one word I'm thinking of. You got it? Jealousy is a big thing in a woman's world, isn't it? If we're not careful, we can begin to do that comparison thing I talked about last night, and then before you know it, we're doing the tick, 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 tick thing. I'm going to share something with you. Write this down too. One thing I've learned, and one thing every smart woman knows how to do, I think, is to let envy, if you feel envious, we're going to talk about that. If you feel envious, let that motivate you to reach your goal. Now, what do I mean by that? Sometimes when we feel that thing of, well, I wish I looked that good, maybe that's a good way to say, well, you know what? I can. I just need to go to the gym every day like she does. And then I might look that good too. I decided I would let envy motivate me to reach one of my goals when I kept seeing Barbie everywhere and I wasn't looking like Barbie anymore. And so I thought, I'm going to join me a jazzercise class. Anybody know what jazzercise is? Do they have jazzercise in Missouri, or where are we? Yeah, in Arkansas. Have jazzercise in Arkansas? If you don't know what jazzercise is, let me tell you. It's an exercise class, but they dance, okay? Now, I was an aerobics instructor way back in the day in college, and I had not done aerobics of any kind in about 20 years. But I decided I'm going to take me a jazzercise class. So I signed up and I got to the class. Guess who was there? Barbie had come to my class. And so I was standing on the front row and I walked in and I thought, ooh, I had my cute little outfit on. I thought, I look good. I thought, I'm 20 years ago, I'm going to jump right up here. I'm going to get on the front row. I'm ready to go. And so this girl came in, and she just as cute as could be, and she had all her makeup on and perfect hair and all that kind of stuff, and she stood right by me. I thought, of course she would. But that's all right. I'm going to show you how it's done. And so the instructor came in, and, you know, Barbie's here, and the music started. Okay, now, if you've never seen any jazzercise, they have these movements, and most of the time you're doing this thing all the whole time, okay? Well, Barbie over here, when the music started, here's what she's doing. She didn't just do her little moves. She was doing this the whole time. And she'd flip her head. Well, we got about 2 minutes into jazzercise, and I was doing this. I thought, I am not standing by you. And I'm waiting my way to the back row. Now, what do? When we start to see somebody that, you know, where envy kicks in, what happens? We start telling ourselves, we're going to make ourselves feel better. So I started looking at her on the front row, and I thought, yeah, I bet you don't have any kids. I thought, yeah, I bet you don't have a real job either. You see how we are? Well, I got through with that class, and I got in my car, and I thought, I'm never going back to that class again in my life. Well, I was telling this story a couple of years later at a conference. I looked down on the front row. Barbie had come to my conference. And when we got done, she came up to me and she said, and she's still just as cute as ever. And she said, you do jazzercise? I do jazzercise. I said, really? And she said, I said, well, I have to admit something to you. She said, what's that? I said, you're the Barbie in my story. She said, oh, you're kidding. She said, I have 6 kids and own my own business. But let me tell you how God works. Remember we talked about him being a redeeming God last night? This is how God works. She had come by herself. I said, well, who are you here with? She said, oh, I'm here by myself. She said, I had just heard about you and wanted to come see you and wanted to come hear you. Guess what happened that day? She gave her life to Jesus right there on the front row. If your group is hosting an upcoming retreat, conference, or event for your ladies, drop me an email or give our office a call at the number you see on the screen, because I would love to be your speaker and meet you in person. You can learn more about all the topics I offer when you visit shannonperry.com. Hey, thanks for tuning in to today's show, and until next time, know you're loved and keep walking in God's grace.
To purchase a copy of Shannon's teaching materials, including her latest book, Grace and Guts, visit shannonperry.com. Grace and High Heels TV is made possible by the friends and partners of Shannon Perry Ministries. Your tax-deductible donation is an investment into eternity, and together we will reach viewers with the life-changing truth of God's Word. To give, visit shannonperry.com. And thank you for your prayerful and generous support.